Now to introduce the 2013 Distinguished American Award, and thank goodness he's got to figure out how to pronounce the guy's name and not me. Please welcome Walter Camp Vice President Mike Madera. Mike.
Play like a champion today. How many times have we heard those famous words while watching Notre Dame football? Joe Theisman has always played like a champion. As a sophomore at Notre Dame, Theisman became the starting quarterback late in the season. As a junior, Joe led the Irish to a number 5 ranking, and then as a senior, he brought them to the number 2 spot with the win in the Cotton Bowl. Joe set school records for passing yards and touchdowns in a season. In one game against USC, Joe completed 33 passes for 526 yards, both school records for a single game. Theisman's Notre Dame teams compiled a 23-2 record, with Joe throwing for 4,411 yards and 31 touchdowns. Joe Theisman currently ranks 5th on Notre Dame's all-time career passing list. He was an academic All-American, made several All-American teams, and was in contention for the Heisman Trophy. Joe Theisman was selected by the Miami Dolphins in the 1971 draft, but decided to play in the Canadian Football League with the Toronto Argonauts. In his 3 years with the Argonauts, he led them to the Grey Cup Championship and was twice named an All-Star. In 1974, the Washington Redskins obtained the rights to Theisman, and in 1978, he became their starting quarterback. As a lifelong Miami Dolphins fan, it pains me to say this. In Super Bowl 17, Joe Theisman led the Redskins offense to victory over Miami. But Joe also had the defensive play of the game when he knocked a sure interception and touchdown out of the hands of the Dolphins' Kim Bokamper, which would have given the Dolphins a 2-touchdown lead. Theisman was named NFL MVP in 1983 and would set career franchise records for passing attempts, completions, and passing yards while playing 12 years for the Redskins. Joe was an instantly recognizable figure with his 1-bar face mask. While other quarterbacks were wearing 2 and sometimes 3-barred face masks, Joe once again distinguished himself as a unique competitor. After his retirement from playing, Joe embarked on a distinguished broadcasting career. He has worked for ABC, CBS, NBC, ESPN, and the NFL Network. He can currently be seen hosting the NFL Network's weekly show Playbook, and recently appeared as himself in the TV series Necessary Roughness. In 2003, Joe Theisman was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. He is a successful businessman and brings that competitive play-like-a-champion quality to all his endeavors.
Success is a lifelong challenge. No one understands that better than Joe Theisman. For him, success is the ultimate goal. He was an All-American quarterback at Notre Dame and led the Irish to a victory in the 1971 Cotton Bowl. After joining the NFL's Washington Redskins in 1974, his peers quickly noticed one glaring characteristic.
Joe was a competitor, and he competed, you know, when he played the game the way it was supposed to be played.
One of the most competitive guys I've ever played against in my life.
A competitor sees the goal, shapes a strategy, and is willing to confront all obstacles. Theisman understood all of these principles. But an NFL quarterback must be more than a competitor. He must be a leader.
I think his toughness and his determination and his self-confidence just exudes from him. And when he'd take the huddle, people knew that he could handle that team and he could carry that team if necessary.
Nice job, mate! Nice job, Russ!
Leaders
nice job,
are tough individuals.
Way to go, Jeff! Way to go!
The guy was a tough quarterback. Tough, confident.
I've seen Joe Theisman get his front teeth knocked out in the first half of the game, come back, lead us down the field in the fourth quarter. And as much as anything, it's mental. It's a mental toughness along with physical.
A leader is willing to go the extra mile for his teammates. The two-time Pro Bowler was named League MVP and Pro Bowl MVP in 1983. He's Washington's all-time leader in passing yards and completions. But his most notable achievement came in 1982 when he led Washington to its first world championship in 40 years. In 1985, a severe leg injury ended his career, but not his passion for football.
He was just incredibly intense about the game. And I think as an analyst, he's the same way. He still gets excited about the game.
Theisman joined ESPN in 1988 and now serves as color commentator of Monday Night Football. A successful businessman, he's the president and CEO of JRT Associates and owner of Joe Theisman's, the restaurant in suburban Washington. He's also involved in charitable organizations that benefit the health and well-being of children. But it is his NFL legacy that will forever define Joe Theisman. It is the legacy of a champion.
I am Joe Theisman, football player. I always will be. It just so happens that football has made Joe Theisman.
For the last 45 years, Joe Theisman has distinguished himself on and off the field. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the 2013 Walter Camp Football Foundation Distinguished American Award to Joe Theisman.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Mike, thank you very much for that introduction. Distinguished honorees this evening, the All-American young men behind me, ladies and gentlemen who have come here to the Walter Camp Foundation dinner, I am your last speaker tonight. These are the last words you will hear, Matt Millen. And Coach Cutcliffe, it was really great to see both your sons giving you such a great applause up there, both Peyton and Eli, the two boys. Kevin, to you, congratulations for representing your school so well. Jameis, it's a treat and an honor to have had the opportunity to spend some time with you this evening. You are truly a young man beyond his years. To be considered a distinguished American, I guess you have to go back to history. And earlier this evening, I had the opportunity to visit with Matt Millen, and we talked about when he used to play with Walter Camp. And he said Walter was quite a unique guy. I learned a lot of my traits from him. Moving around a little bit, and here we are in the hallowed halls of Yale. I played in the Yale Bowl when I played with the Redskins for a while. I don't know, Kenny, you weren't with us at that time, I don't think. But I had an opportunity to come back here. Every time we think of Yale and Harvard, Princeton, all those Ivy League schools, and I was a kid that grew up in New Jersey, and I thought, that's someplace I'll never be. So it's nice to be invited here to these hallowed halls this evening. What a great honor when I stop to think about a distinguished American. What better place to have its roots than here at the roots of football, where Walter Camp created a game for all of us. As Matt has spoken to the young men behind me, I say the same thing. Think about where you are tonight, because it all started here. It started with a dream. It started with the dream of a man who would never give up on it. Many times they tried to outlaw the game of football. They said it was too violent, it was too tough. It's funny how things run around in cycles. But yet it persevered, just as every one of you will persevere, whether it's on a football field or whether it's in life. Because the lessons that we learn from the game of athletics is just a vehicle for us to be able to use with our lives as we go forward. To be able to give back. So when I stopped and thought about distinguished American, how many other people, you look at the people that have won, Dick Vermeil, Father Theodore Hesburgh from the University of Notre Dame, Paul Tagliabue, Susan St. James, the people that have won this, I am so humbled to be receiving this award this evening because of the company and the people that have received it before. You know, it's really funny about the game of football and the game of life. They parallel one another so much. And for me, it's been a very interesting experience because the game of football has been very, very good to me and members of our teams. We've had the good fortune to win championships. I had the good fortune to be a most valuable player in the National Football League. I had a chance to be the man of the year. At one point, I was one of the highest paid players in the National Football League. But through all that success, I found out that I started to lose myself as a man. What I started to feel was I deserved all those accolades. I was the reason why we were successful. I was the reason why the Redskins were being successful. I was the one that they couldn't do without. And then I found out life doesn't work that way. That we're allowed certain opportunities to be able to experience things in our lives that enhance us going forward. Each of you has been selected as All-Americans. Think about that. Think about what place you hold today. What responsibility do you have as an All-American, as I have as a distinguished American? It's the world of football that is giving you this opportunity. But it's what you do with your life going forward that'll impact everyone around you. And to Arizona High School, I want to congratulate every one of you, because you deserve it as much as anybody else. And to the coaching staff, because these are the formidable years of our lives. This is the years where we develop and get kids to understand. And like I said, I started to feel so full of myself. And what reminds me so much of this evening is I recall 7 or 8 years ago at a dinner, a black tie affair, seated at a dais. 3,000 people in the audience, as there are some 1,200 here tonight. And they brought out my entree and a baked potato and 6 rolls. And they gave me 1 pat of butter. I was decent at management. I took the butter, I threw it on the potato. I turned the young man behind me and said, "Excuse me, sound like another pat of butter?" He said, "No." I said, "Whoa, time out. I am Joe Theisman. I want another pat of butter." He said, "Sir, I know who you are. You're a great football player." I said, "Thank you very much." He said, "You were MVP of the National Football League." I said, "Thank you very much." He said, "You won a Super Bowl." I said, "Thank you very much." He said, "Sir, do you know who I am?" I said, "No, I don't." He says, "I'm the kid in charge of the butter. You get 1 pat of butter." We all have ways that we are humbled. And it is a great honor for me to be able to receive this award. Because in 1970, as I looked at the All-American teams that were selected by the Walter Camp Football Foundation, my name is not there. Jim Plunkett won that award, so I'll never be an alumni until today. I have the rare distinction today to join a family as Hugh would say, welcome to the family, and to see Tony and Doug and all the great people that have played this game of ours. Football is an opportunity. It's a stepping stone in your life. Think about where you want to go. As Matt said, as one. What other one person can you influence in your life? How can we make a difference in someone's life? I think that we're given gifts. You know, people call us heroes. You're a football player, you're a hero. You win a Heisman Trophy, you win a national championship. You're an All-American, you're a hero. No, that's not the case at all. God granted us certain gifts that we're allowed to use and go forward with. The heroes are the people of Boston, the young men and women that defend our country, the police officers and the firemen that defend our right to be able to do the things we want to do in this world. They are the true heroes. And as we represent the Walter Camp Football Foundation, I think every one of us in our hearts realizes that it is a great honor. It is a great distinction. But yet it is just a stepping stone for us to be able to go on and be able to help people throughout the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I am humbled before you. I appreciate the award so much. God bless you and thank you.